Oh no.
All of a sudden she sees what we're staring at. And with a close-up of Nicole here, with all underneath this wide open. And she says to me, oh gosh, it's become like furniture. I don't even know it's there.
Oh, well, there you go. What melodrama that is. Now, Vincent Bulgosi is involved here. Now, Vincent Bulgosi, of course, is the Manson man. Let's just have a look what Vincent says about this. Yeah, Vincent Bulgosi versus O.J. Simpson. Absolutely 100%. 100% guilty, part one. Yeah, check the narrative here. It's classic narrative. 100% guilty, part one. Listen what he says in the opening lines. That's enough. That's all you need to hear.
O.J. Simpson murder trial outrage. Double murderer walked out of a court, much like this one, a free man. Don't feel alone. Approximately 70% of all Americans feel the same way. How could a man so obviously guilty evade punishment? Was it because of a racially biased jury, a judge's improper rulings, unscrupulous and devious defense attorneys? How could this miscarriage of justice have happened? My name is Vince Bugliosi, and as a former prosecuting attorney, the verdict in the O.J. Simpson criminal trial has made me a part of that approximately 70%. I was angry enough, in fact, to write a book entitled Outrage, The 5 Reasons Why O.J. Simpson Got Away with Murder. Let me say that this was not a book I had intended to write. In fact,
See, talk about all shooters in the woods narrative, the Mason colours, full of hand gestures. I mean, the guy's been around the traps. He's been bullshitting about Manson for years. So why is he telling the truth here? Case closed. O.J. Simpson is a hoax. Satellites do not exist. Satellites are just as big a hoax as a NASA moon missions. And of course they go hand in hand. Look at all the years of satellite images. How come we still have cartoons? Oh, NASA's got a very glorified explanation for this. But just the same, all we get is cartoons. I mean, they've got to be kidding. They put a man on the moon in 69. Well, they can't give us a real photo from these satellites. Of course, they give us photos that are taken from aeroplanes, and that's the way they do it. Nice cartoon images like this one. This is what you get. This is what you get. Let's just blow this up a little bit. Have a bit of a decent look. As if it's lit up that much. Look at this. You just would be blinded by the light. You would be blinded by the light. This is a joke. It's a cartoon. It's Disneyland. Just look at it. Somebody's painting. It is a computer-generated image, of course. What a shocker. And you just got to look at the attachments to old satellites. I mean, the first satellite broadcast was the old Beatles, wasn't it now? Look at here with their little globes above their heads. Very telling indeed. And of course, the other one in on this caper was Elvis from Hawaii. Yeah, now look at these images. Elvis satellite, look, beaming down, Elvis all over the world. Can you see now the relativity of the entertainment industry and NASA? It's all hooked in together. The whole mind control program via satellite. Yes, here's Mr. Elvis here, singing an American trilogy, building up the nationalism all around the time of Apollo, don't forget. Yes, we should look away. I tell you what, you see how it's all connected? The satellite hoax. Yeah, just search Google satellite images. and we don't get one real picture of a satellite at all. Just a series of cartoons, one after the other cartoon. Look, some that look a bit more realistic. People swear that's real, but come on now, folks. All cartoons taken by Space Raven if they were real pics. Things like this, right? Things like this. Look at them all. Where's the real images? Years and years of satellites and they can't give us a real image. They've got to be kidding, haven't they? Absolutely kidding. But I'll tell you what, it works well. I noticed there was a thing for North Korea, how satellite pictures show them that North Korea is, executing people. Look at this. Here he is himself, Kim Jong. Look, satellite images capture North Korean executions. So, I mean, just like the nuclear bomb, the satellite has a lot of mind game about it, of course, spying on neighbours, war ideas, etc. See, all links together. And this other stuff that they can put up. What satellite data tells us about Nepal's brutal quake? Well, you see, we know that the brutal quake was a hoax, and so therefore, what does it do for satellites? And look at this image. I tell you what, it's just outrageous, isn't it? Satellite images of Earth. Here we go, satellite images of Earth now. Let's see what we can find here. Look at these images. Look at this. Now, as if that's real. And look how different it is to the day image, you might say. And look at night, they can see everything so clearly like this, like the whole thing is just a joke. Those patches of light, you'd be blind, as I said before. There's that one there, hang on, must be down the page. Mind you, this one here is a joke too. Look at this one here of England and Europe. Look at that. See the stuff they throw up? And this one, we know, how fraudulent that is. Space Raven at its best. Absolute best Space Raven there. Now look at this one here. And it conveniently has a space station, but what took it? A high up satellite. And you get the curve of the Earth there as well. All these images, look, these type of things, just rubbish. So where's the real images? There's some real nice pictures, crisp and clear, from a satellite, not from an aeroplane. Sure, they can take above ground photos, but these satellite images from far away, all dubious. They all look like cartoons. Look at the back here. It just sort of has that very cartoon look, doesn't it now? That's the best one that we've seen, but still, that's a computer-generated image. That's not a real photo. Look at the curve. There's an even sort of very strange-looking curve there. Square at that bit. It goes to a point nearly and then down. So there you go. You see, fakery on all fronts. It's this one here. Space wallpapers. Oh, nice. This sort of thing, You can see from that fuzziness there, it's just a cartoon. Just a cartoon. Look at the sun. The sun wouldn't be far away anyway if it was shining on a spot like that. Everyone there would be fried, wouldn't they? The sun's not shining as much over you, just on that spot. It's like on a lake or something. And that's just to give you the idea, yes, it's outside, look, there's the sun, but come on, that's dubious too. Everything about these images is absolutely fraudulent. Look at this one here. Let's bring this one up. Look at this one. Look at the cut-off look at the background. Looks like they've just put a black thing there, and that is a real plane. That's not that high. It's just above the cloud level. You see, they mix it up good to get a bit of fakery going. That's what their game is. And just think, Beatles and Elvis all involved in a satellite hoax. Well, this morning I was doing some work and I wish I'd had my camera because it's such a vivid picture this morning of the sun and the moon in the sky together. And they seem extra close this morning from what I've ever seen before. And it was a half moon. And I said to somebody in the street, I said, look up there. Look at that half moon. How can that not be a full moon? There's the sun, there's the moon. How can it only light up half of it if that's what's happening, that it's reflecting? Now, what I mean by a half moon, same as the picture up on my Jungle Surfer channel. So imagine it's the line down here, and it's all you can see, this half, and the sun was right there. Now, tomorrow I'll make sure I get the camera out and I take a photo and I can clearly show you and you'll see yourself. Absolute joke to think that the sun is reflecting onto the moon and that's the light of the moon. The moon has to be its own light, and it has to have some strange things about it that cause it to go from a quarter to full and totally independent of the sun. Now, I'm really happy that the Dave J channel, Dave Johnson, he should get his proper channel back, and I wish people would say things to YouTube about Franco and Dave J. Those two channels definitely didn't deserve to be taken down. No swearing on those channels, just information. And so I wish all the best to Dave Johnson and to Franco, because I hope they can get their channels back. I hope enough people listen to what I'm saying here and make some moves on that and contact Google. If there's a Google office in your town, go and speak to them at the desk. Any way you can. We need those channels back because they were good channels that gave good information. And here's a Dave J video here. The moon is alight at 170,000 feet. Now this is quite an old video and he's re-uploaded it. So it's only had 235 views. I'm sure it had, I don't know, maybe over 100,000 views. So it's only gone up on July 28th. And the mirrored effect is explained in this here. It's a great video, so go and watch this video. And there's the new Dave Johnson channel there. So if you type this in, certainly Dave's made some comments on some of my videos. Go and look for him there. But we'll just play a bit of it. Because fantastic video, this one. And there are a few others saying the same thing around if you need some extra confirmation, as in somebody else saying the same thing and you add it all together. Gee, they couldn't all be wrong. Of course not. I said this morning the moon was a half and the sun was very close to it. It should have been full. There's no way if you hold two objects one a light and one a ball, and they're inside of each other, it's going to make the whole ball that you're holding up without a light on it glow. But this is not what we see with the moon. Half of it just wasn't there.
The moon itself is at a height of 32.234 miles high. It's just over 170,000 feet. Now let me explain to you, at that altitude, that height above the flat plane of Earth, what you call Earth dirt, you run into a different atmosphere and concentration of gases. You run into what are called lighter than air gases, and one in particular, neon. Neon allows, as you know, things to glow. Right? So this is just pictures of the moon light coming into view, and as you can tell, it's quite bright. And what I'm going to do is take with the next few.
Let me just make that point for people who can't see any of this. Remember when they showed you they went to the moon? The moon was grey. Yet any time you look at the moon, it's bright. You see, there's just no way those people were walking on a rocky moon. It was just total balderdash.
Photos and just blend them in while I tell you some things. Is just take a long exposure shot, which is just allowing as much light into the camera as it can take, and then that's going to highlight the sky for you and show you that in fact the illusion, the blue illusion, can also then be created at night, depending on how long you want to leave your shutter open. Okay. So then, with that in mind, you have this idea of the moonlight, and you can see this if you notice these images. You're going to see a splashing on the side of colors, red and blue, making a purplish. All right, it's going to be off to the side, And what that is that's going to be the source of this projection. Now, each one of these, the sun included, has a source of projection. This one in particular is I've taken a photograph of it. I'm going to show you that as soon as I explain a little bit more of the mechanics of this to you. So then you have a plane, and planes are nothing more than atmosphere changes precisely, allowing and disallowing combustion, let's say at 172,000 feet, where then the O2 is at 0. So then combustion is just out the window. So
that's a very good point you're making about combustion too. As I said, I think they're really limited to around the 50,000 feet. If you think those big jets do 35, I'm sure they could go 1,000 or 2 or 3 higher, but then they're going to start to run into problems. So they just don't go. They leave a bit of safety margin, you might say. But I had a guy who was a pilot, and he said he'd been to 50,000 feet, and he said no control. He couldn't wait to get down to 45, but he could start to feel the steering wheel again. And he was complimenting me on my video, because I'm one of the only people who said this can only go to 50,000 feet. We have all these balloons going up to 100,000 feet. I don't believe any of them. They always show a black and a white sort of look, like in daytime they find black space. I don't think you would be able to do that. If the sun was present in the sky near you, it's all going to be blue as high as we will ever go, which is 50,000 feet. But even if you went higher, it's still going to be blue. You're not going to see that black. Of course, when the sun is far enough away, we have the night sky. And I think light possibly only travels a set distance. It would depend on the amount of atmosphere it has to go through. Now you can think about this yourself. If you had a little torch and you went a football field away from the torch, you could still see it. By the time you got enough distance, say a few kilometres from a torch, you're not going to see the torch anymore. Unless it's a really big spotlight, of course. I mean, the bigger the light, the further you're going to see it, the more power looms in it. But basically, light has run out time. You know, it'll only go so far. We tend to think, because they've taught us this, millions and millions of miles of light, taking millions of years of light years to get there, all that rubbish. I don't believe one bit of it. I believe light has limiting factors, just like everything else around us seems to have limiting factors, and the limiting factors are a lot more than they say. They tend to make us think that you can just do anything, because they can. NASA is all-powerful, but I tell you now, they're not going much higher than commercial jet airliners. And here's Franco's new channel. Again, it'd be unreal, folks, if you could go and protest about the Dave J and Franco channels being taken down. Here's art in London. It's an interesting thing. I see he's mirrored my tea video. Let's have a quick look at this, and might help him get back on the board a bit. But it'd be good if we could have his original channel. That's interesting, you know. Yeah, that was good, Franco. I like that. Yeah, stuff's all around, isn't it?
The Alchemist. Coincidence theory? This one's a bit strange. Also, particularly good as a skateboard ramp, apparently. It's like a science theme, like measurement. It's to scientifically focus the hypnotism or something. And also, I guess, provide ample shade from the rain. Oh my god, grey clouds coming. I think it's going to rain. We've seen this one before. I understand it better now, though. Now I get them.
That's a very interesting one indeed, just a pile of bricks.
I mean, it's the building blocks of life crumbling, falling apart, being artificially replaced with the crew.
Weird as all that bit there. Anyway, there's the Franco channel for you, and he's got uploads happening. Good on you, Franco, for powering on against the adversity that they've put on us, you know. Because it has been terrible, shocking. That is for certain. It didn't take long to get John. That was a little lyric I thought of for this one, eh? It didn't take long to get John. Here he is. Didn't take long to get you, Johnny. Not in the slightest, Johnny. Very quick, Johnny. See, women's hands are like that. It's just a woman's hand. Oh, here we go. Let's fire the computer now. And this picture here. Very feminine. And we know this will go. Yes, we know old Libby. That would kill most grandmothers in Australia dead if you told them that. You told them that Libby was a man, they'd just fall over and kill him up. It would. This picture here, look at this one here, eh? Let's bring that up big time. Look at that. Look at that. And I saw one here that was just really telling. There you go, folks. There you go. There you go, eh? Even John Travolta. But you see, what I noticed is the name. TV, you know, John Travolta. John transvestite Travolta, though. But, you know, TV. That's just amazing, isn't it? When you look at that, you know, it blew me away. I didn't know what to find when I looked up John Travolta. Oh, no, it's somebody else's thing. You see? So they gave him that, you know, it's the body of a woman, really, just with a man's head. See, that's the idea of it. It's bloody freaky. It's just like Rudolph Valentino, when we looked at him just in a previous video. So I thought I'd better, you know, smash one of the other real icons. A lot of women thought, oh, John Travolta. Oh, he's so sexy with those moves. Yeah, well, he was a girl. And people, men loved Olivia Newton-John, so let's look at her now. I just saw this one. I thought it was a bit interesting. Some movie was in Hairspray with fat ladies, eh? Now, these are probably guys, no doubt. Looks a bit guy-like, doesn't it? It seems to be something right through in every sort of little level. Crazy. Yes, now this is an interesting one indeed. You know, you just wouldn't believe that that could be not a girl. See, it's got the slightly wider nose. And they do a lot of work on those, what do you call it, eyebrows to get them thin, in my opinion. It was a mousy sort of guy, obviously, he turned into. You know, they picked the right ones, don't worry. They know what they're doing here. This is all big money, don't forget, being made with these people. Fabricating them up, as it were. But the big lips are the big giveaway as they get older. You see, because they have to keep Botoxing up the lips to give them the female impression, and the lips wear out, you know, over time. And so then that's what you get the freak look of Joan Rivers when this is heading that way now. Here's a picture over here, hang on. Yeah, you can see what I mean. The Joker himself all in on this one. Like the women with the big ears, but the women the men get the big lips. That's a funny thing, you know, once you've been looking at it a while, you start to see little jokes, of course. And it all fits. You can look up later. Somewhere you'll see that this is all true. And that's what you're looking at. All he needs a full body shot of this lady. That will be handy. Now, here's an interesting bunch. I can see it here. What an interesting bunch indeed. Now, gee, let's jump. Hang on a second. Oh, just before we do, look, I found this good one here. Now, that just shows it's a bloke. Look at that. Little bloke-like, you know, and that little area was allowed to be blokey for a little while, make it a bit easier on himself. Went into the physical state. So don't think it's all about marketing. These pictures with ABBA, they're very interesting. You know, because I just thought about this ABBA group too. I don't know whether they'd stand a very big transvestigation when I think about them and their personas and their movements over the years. Yeah, they dance, but really it was a bit bloke-like, a bit Pointer Sisters. It was all that era. What would be any different out of Sweden? God, come on now. And look at that. See, that just shows you. Yes, that's a tranny. Oh, we've got one here. It's clearly really bad. Look at the giving the game right away here, I reckon. Look at that. That just looks like the queen of the trannies, and these are all trannies. So, you know, this is Las Vegas, man. You know, what do you reckon? That's what she's been playing at the Flamingo Club. So you can probably check all the people who ever played there. See something very female about this shape of the curve there, see? Very female there, Johnny boy. Very female indeed. And we know with Slice Delane, we know with Rudolph Valentino, so come on, we can add two and two together, can't we, you know? Look, that proves nothing. People say, oh no, he's a big chunky bloke. Look at that, that's bad, isn't it? No, that's just as bad. It's just you've got to know what to look for. We're not used to this one. You know, people accept this easier. Even though with Olivia it's hard, just people say, oh no, my grandmother would turn over in the grave too. Every grandmother that liked Olivia Newton-John and all that stuff would, oh, I've got one that corks a early, you wait. This says it all here, folks. This says it all totally. Now, can people see? Now, what would you say about this one? You have to admit that's a bloke. So what's this doing with it? Isn't that an odd image there? How did they get that angle? Where's Joan's body? She's sitting in the chair or something or other's going on there. Look, that's really strange. So I want you to look at that photo around that area. And look, that's the girly. Look at the girly face. You better bring up what's going on here. This is oh, I see. Still very odd. Oh, see, it's just the thing that she's wearing sort of made it look really funny. Still, yeah, look at her legs. I guess they're behind her. It's still pretty odd photo. But look, I was talking about this one, the two jokers, mate. The two jokers. And this must have just happened not long ago either. Well, look out, eh? Where Olivia goes. She's a bit like Sarah. Where Olivia goes, trouble follows. She was near Sandy Hook too. She's the other witch. She's the Australian witch. But, what sort of witch, eh? P-witch.
Japan or French, German, and all these phenomenal performances by bands. You miss at the time that when you saw them 10 years after the fact, like when you forgot everything from the Kings to Mountain, all these people playing in Germany, and whether there's a 10-year-old kid seeing this on TV, he never had it. Well, we had later than show. We only have Manchester on the Harley John, how are you, my friend?
Very, very good. Much to talk to you about, but before we get to some band business in your worlds, I thought of you immediately this morning when I woke up and heard the terrible news about the passing of David Bowie, because I know what a fan you are. So as a fan, and I'm sure somebody who met Bowie, my condolences to you, and tell me about your thoughts when you heard the tragic news.
I couldn't believe it. You know, I was in bed this morning with my phone on silent, thinking, I was like, what's going on? You know, so I picked it up, and when I see the text like, have you heard the news? I'm like, it's always never a good thing. Never a good thing.
Black snake living in a black hole.
You won't see me cry.